Hi guys, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be starting a series on missing persons. If you've watched my channel before or you know anything about me, you would know that I have a degree in psychology with a minor in forensic science. I've always been interested in things such as true crime, missing persons, unsolved mysteries, and homicide investigations. Even as a kid, I would watch things such as Dateline or 60 Minutes, and I also watch a bunch of people on YouTube who do unsolved mystery cases as well as missing persons cases. One of the reasons I wanted to start this series was because I just know that the more you talk about these people and the more their stories get out, the more information that is likely to come forward and the more likely it is that they will be found and brought home. So today, to start off this missing persons series, I wanted to talk about a missing woman named Ashley Heavyrunner. According to sources, she also goes by Ashley Loring. And she is from the area of Browning, Montana. She was described as a really wonderful young woman. She was 20 years old when she went missing, but she had already lived such a full life. She was in community college. She was described as super intelligent, outgoing, friendly, and family oriented. Some other descriptors that were given to news sources were that she was 5 feet and 2 inches, that she was around 90 pounds, and she had dark hair, brown eyes, and that she was of Native American descent and belonged to the Blackfeet tribe in Montana. Now, unfortunately with this case, it seems that there is just not much information at all. I can tell you guys, I scoured the internet trying to find for the past week any information on the day of her disappearance, the days leading up to her disappearance, or just anything that had come forward. But unfortunately, there's just so few information to give you guys, and that's why I think it's important to get this video out here so that if anyone does know anything, that they can find it in themselves to come forward. In the information that I was able to find, I was able to see that she had not been heard from since about the beginning of June. From reports given by her sister Kimberly, who's really just gone forward and really made this search what it is today, she said that people have not heard from her since June 5th, that she had reached out to people that she knew that her sister Ashley knew, and that pretty much all her friends had said that no one had heard from her for a few weeks. Here's where the story gets a little weird. So when you first hear the information that she's just a 20-year-old woman and people just haven't heard from her in a while, most people think, well, she just left. However, Kimberly had been on a trip overseas in different places, but when she was getting home, she had gotten a brand new job that she had been really wanting, and she was planning on having Ashley move in with her in a new town. So because of these plans for Ashley to move in with Kimberly, Kimberly was expecting a call from Ashley pretty much as soon as she got home from her study abroad trip, but the call never came. A lot of the information that I was able to find was through an ABC article that was done on Ashley and her disappearance, but also from Kimberly's personal Facebook. And you can see on there, especially in the beginning parts of June when she would have been returning, it seems like she's just waiting. And then Kimberly put out a Facebook status saying, hey, if anyone knows where Ashley is, please tell her to give me a call. I have some important news or information or something along these lines. So it does seem like her family was trying to reach out to Ashley, but was getting nowhere. Finally, a missing persons report was filed because no one had heard from Ashley. No one had seen her. She had seemingly just disappeared into thin air. Just no one had any information. No one knew what was happening or where she could be. Since that time, her sister Kimberly has done so many searches, made a Facebook page, made missing persons posters, just really went all out to find her sister. A lot of these searches have been in the Montana mountain regions, especially in the Blackfeet reservation. Now this is, from what I've read, a pretty large reservation. And if you guys didn't know, reservations have their own like police force, their own police system. So they have their Blackfeet police, and then there's also, you know, there's Montana police in the state and such, but the Blackfeet reservation has their own police force. And they, as Kimberly has stated in these articles, that they were pretty helpful at the beginning, but now that it's been about 6 months since the disappearance, her searches are really not occupied by the police force anymore. What I've seen online, the most recent information has came from a tip that was given in November to search the western slope of a nearby mountain. However, this tip seems to have turned up nothing. There was no evidence found, no clues found. And unfortunately, that's pretty much where it ends. There's not much evidence to talk about, and there's not really any timeline. It just seems like she was there and then she was gone, and there's really no information to piece that time together, that people did see her and then when her sister was trying to contact her and hasn't found her. Now, according to her sister, it is very unlikely that she would have just up and run away, as she said that she was very close to her family, and that if she had seen that her sister was constantly trying to call, text, and making all these Facebook posts online, that her sister would get in contact with her and be like, hey, I'm fine, everything's fine, please stop doing this. However, she has had no contact at all, no calls, no texts, no Facebook messages, nothing. And here's where we're gonna start talking about some of the theories that I think may be the most plausible, unfortunately, in the situation. So it seems the most, or the biggest theory that I have seen online was that she had run away to the state of Washington. From what I've gathered, it looks like Ashley did have some family and friends that lived in the Washington, Oregon area of the country. And on some of her missing persons posters, it does state that Ashley may be headed towards that area. Unfortunately, with the lack of information, we can't really speculate onto why she would have gone to that specific region of the country. I think only the family would really know on that, and they, from what I've seen, haven't discussed that online or given that kind of information if they do have any information on it. Some things that maybe you can speculate on is maybe she was unhappy, maybe she really wanted to move in with her sister, but she just couldn't wait any longer and she just wanted to start over fresh and have a fresh start somewhere. And if she were to go to Washington and she had family there, then it wouldn't be so lonely, she'd have someone. However, this to me doesn't seem the most plausible, because if she was going there and she did have family and her reasoning was just wanting a fresh start, why wouldn't she get in contact with her sister and her family and friends back home to at least tell them, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm in Washington, I'm seeing family over here for a little bit, and that's just what I'm doing. You would think if she wanted to start over new in a new state that she'd still keep in contact with her sister that she was so incredibly close to. And even so, with the information that she did have family there, it just, if her family knew she was there, then wouldn't they tell the family back in Montana that Ashley was there? It just doesn't make sense to me that that's what she's doing if she's there. I mean, it's very possible she just went to Washington and hasn't contacted her family there, but still, to me, that seems unlikely. Another theory that seemed to be kind of sprouting was that Ashley may have run away, but not to Washington and not to see family. Some of Kimberly's Facebook posts did point to the fact that Ashley had been hanging out with new people that Kimberly didn't know, and that people that may have not had the best reputations, I guess is the best way to put it. In one post that I saw on the Facebook page that was created for finding Ashley, there was something along the lines of saying that she may have not been hanging out with the best people. However, that didn't make her a bad person, and they wanted her to come home. There were also suggestions and Facebook posts saying, like, if you're laying low, just please let us know where you are, please just come home, kind of indicating that something may have happened because Ashley was hanging out with these certain people that maybe didn't have the best reputations, maybe weren't doing the best things. Maybe Ashley had gotten into something that she was not proud of. Maybe it was something that she felt that if she had done something bad, that she wouldn't be able to come home. Her grandmother had said that Ashley had always been a really great kid and that she never had to worry about Ashley growing up. Ashley and Kimberly had actually had a little bit of time in the foster care system before moving in with their grandparents and their other siblings. But it seemed like Ashley always had a really great head on her shoulders and that no one really had to worry about her growing up. But maybe when she hit 20 years old, something just happened where she wanted to, break free a little bit, experiment a little bit. I mean, that's totally normal. People do that when they get to a certain age, especially if they had been good their whole life and they were meeting these new people who had all these different experiences, and maybe she wanted to experience some of these things too. However, again, even though that to me sounds like it could be plausible, it doesn't really sound that plausible when you think about all the other facts with this investigation. Especially, again, since she was so family oriented, she was so close to her sister, and she was planning on moving in with her sister when her sister came home. Why would she just skip town and leave with these strangers that her family didn't know, that no one would know where she is, that she wouldn't take a phone, and that she wouldn't call anyone to let them know that she was fine, that she was just traveling for a little bit? To me, it just doesn't make very much sense, especially given the fact that she was so close to her family and so incredibly close to her sister. Why would she just worry them for no reason, especially to leave with people that they didn't even know, and maybe she didn't even know that well? To me, that seems like probably the least likely scenario, that she would just run away with new friends. I don't know, but it is something that I've read about a little bit and thought it was a theory worth sharing at least. Now, the last theory that is something that no one wants to hear, however, is something you have to talk about in missing persons cases, is the chance that harm did come upon her. Like we had mentioned before, Ashley was so incredibly close to her family. She was so close to her sister, and she was planning on moving in with her sister when her sister came home from studying abroad. In the time between when people had last heard from Ashley to when her sister got home wasn't a huge gap. So for her to just run off and say, I can't take it anymore, I need to leave right now, when her sister was coming home so shortly and was going to have her move in with her, doesn't seem likely. And even less likely that even if that was the thing she decided to do, that she wouldn't contact her sister and let her know what was going on at all. And there's also the fact that there has been mentions of these friends that they didn't know about, that she was hanging around with these new people that maybe didn't have the best reputation, that something could have happened to Ashley. Unfortunately, statistically speaking, with Native American women, they do have a way higher rate of assault, abuse, and homicide in their communities. And it's not talked about, it's not solved, and it's terrifying. But unfortunately, it does happen, and there just aren't that many resources to help Native American women and get them out of situations. So when you want to think about it, if she was hanging out with these people that she didn't really know, that may have not had the best intentions, what if something terrible happened and these people didn't have good intentions for her and they harmed her and they've now hidden her body somewhere? Unfortunately, that is a possibility. Again, I don't want to speculate and say it's the most plausible one because there's just no evidence for it. There's really no evidence pointing in any direction, really. Is she missing? Is she harmed? No one knows. There's just not evidence pointing in any way. Although I do think it is important to talk about every single possibility, just in case someone does want to come forward or knows anything. And this story does sound familiar. Now that is, I think, the last theory I want to talk about, because I haven't really seen much else on the internet pointing to anything else. Now at the end of this, I do want to talk more about the Blackfeet tribe and the reservation. In my research, I did find that there were several other missing persons cases that were totally unsolved and under mysterious circumstances, where it had gone, just people vanished. And if you look up Ashley Loring or Ashley Heavyrunner, I do know it goes by both, you will see that not only is she missing from this tribe, but there are 2 other people missing right now that were within recent times that are also being looked for, that went missing within this area. When you look at the circumstances and you look back into the history of the area and the missing people, it starts to become less of a one-time thing, that these are just people and it's happening in this area. It seems like more things match up than a running away case. In the ABC article that I'm going to link down below, it goes more in depth on that and more in depth on these different disappearances and how the locals kind of feel about it, and how it's kind of just a really sketchy situation. It's not something that it seems like people want to talk about due to something, maybe outside forces they don't think want them to talk about it, or they don't want them to make any links. But it's definitely something that I think is good to think about and to theorize about, because if there are so many different missing people's reports, and these go back into the 70s, and they're all under mysterious circumstances, that there could be a link there. And it's important, if we can solve one missing persons case and hopefully solve many missing persons cases, that we do it. Now again, I just want to express that Ashley Loring is 21 years old, or at least that was the age she was when she went missing. She was 5 feet 2 inches, 90 pounds. She had dark hair and brown eyes, and was from the Blackfeet Native American tribe in Montana. Bureau of Indian Affairs Office of Justice Services has offered a $1,000 reward for any concrete information on the location and finding of Ashley Loring. And the Blackfeet tribe has also made a $4,000 reward for, again, any information leading to the finding of Ashley Loring or Ashley Heavyrunner. It was also stated that she was last seen wearing a t-shirt and jeans, and she was last seen on the reservation. If anyone out there knows absolutely anything, please come forward. Please tell the police or the tribal police. They so desperately need to bring Ashley home. Her sister Kimberly loves her sister, needs her home, needs her there with her, and has organized so many searches. In the article that I read in November, it was over 40, and I'm sure she's done so many since then. And at the time I recorded this just yesterday, Kimberly made a plea on her Facebook page that said, "Please do not forget about my sister." And I want to put this video out there to let her know, to let their tribe know, and to let Ashley know that we are not forgetting about her, and that she needs to come home. She should be home. And that, again, if anyone knows absolutely anything, please contact the correct people with any information you may have on this. It is so, so important that even if you think something is small and insignificant, it could be the biggest break in the investigation so far. So please, if you have any information, contact the Blackfeet Law Enforcement at, I'm going to read it off, 406-338-4000. I'm going to leave that number down in the description box below. Again, if you have any information, please contact them and tell them absolutely any information you may have. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I know this was a video that didn't have a lot of information and a lot of evidence, and that can be totally frustrating. However, I do think that getting this information out there will lead someone to say something and to bring Ashley home, and that is the most important thing when making a missing persons video, is the chance that someone somewhere will see it and know where she is or get her home. If you guys have any suggestions on what you want to see next week, please leave them in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy this missing person series and would like to see more of it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.